So first of all, I would like to let you know what the OpenStudyBuilder-Hub is, and then we are going to dive into the OpenStudyBuilder Trail for Controlled Terminology, which is a working group we are going to create, or we have created. So there's a very brief introduction to the OpenStudyBuilder, to the OpenStudyBuilder-Hub, and to single trails we are going to run. And then we are going to focus on the OpenStudyBuilder Trail for Controlled Terminology. Just a very quick overview about what the OpenStudyBuilder is. It is a metadata and a study definition repository and meant for the end-to-end automation from structured protocol to submission deliverables using concept-based standards. So the goal of the OpenStudyBuilder is really to streamline the end-to-end flow, meaning from protocol through the schedule of activities, the CRF design, the EDC collection, to SDTM, SCE utilization, add-on generation, to finally also going to the TLFs and the clinical trial reporting. What's very important is the alignment to standard initiatives, which is specifically the CDIS 360 project, the USDM format, so the Unified Study Definition Model, and the Transliterate Digital Data Flow project. Currently, the OpenStudyBuilder is around this step, meaning we are highly working on the CRF setup and the EDC connection to automate these related processes. The schedule of activities is working pretty well, but of course, there's also some more progress going on here. Now we are coming to the OpenStudyBuilder-Hub, and this is a new COSA collaboration team. So the CDISC Open Source Alliance also has decided to go with working groups, which are then collaboration teams. And for this, we are going to have a collaboration team specifically for the OpenStudyBuilder because there's a high interest in the community to get involved. So what's the vision and the mission from our hub? It's to support the utilization and enhancement of the OpenStudyBuilder open source tool. Our core objectives are to collect feedback, run focused projects, and to drive innovation through community engagement. Everybody is invited, so we would be really much looking forward for anyone interested in enhancing the OpenStudyBuilder tool to make it more accessible to others. We do have a COSA community, so we have a list of use cases which we like to add and discuss. We would like to get the feedback on the community interest, and this is also to prioritize use cases of interest. And the hub itself is also like a collaboration and a collection. So under this hub, we can run single projects. And this is really to utilize the enhancement of the OpenStudyBuilder. We have a Slack channel, so you can join us on Slack. You can also provide feedback directly to the use cases, and you can check out additional information on our wiki homepage. And the joining of the discussions is very easy and quite very straightforward. We do have in our wiki, it's also linked to the discussions area in GitHub. There you can see the different use cases, which you can, if you like them, you can give it a thumbs up, for example, and you also can include additional comments, ideas, and suggestions just by clicking the Add Comment button. And then under the OSB Hub, which is really the umbrella, we are going to run single trails. And these trails is really to run as focus project, because as a community, we would also like to work on enhancing the documentation, create best practices, create additional requirements, create supporting tools, but also to work on the concepts for integrations. And it's really by empowering the community, we can really chart the course of our upcoming trails together, because the community can rate the use cases, and this really depends on what next trail we are going to concentrate on. But first, to start with, that's the most easiest and straightforward one. It's a trail about the controlled terminology. So, for example, we do have CDIS controlled terminology like the ADAM catalog or also the SDTM catalog, where we have the different terms. But there's also sponsor-specific code lists, which can be managed within the OpenStudyBuilder. And this is where we are going to focus on. So it's really about the CDISC and the sponsor standards. Questions are, for example, how to seamlessly integrate with new CDISC control terminology versions, how to load or create sponsor terminology, what kind of additional attributes can I apply, what would I need additionally, how to use this downstream, how to deal with different versions, and many more things. So these are all questions we could address and answer. Timeline-wise, this project is running from July to December. And the outcome is really to have documentation and best practices, but also having supporting scripts or tools and additional requirements. And it's really up for collaboration. So we are really looking for collaborators. So you can either support with the documentation, you can join the discussions and, for example, create also requirements. You can also review the documentation and mention wherever you don't understand something or you would like to have enhancements. But you can also collaborate on the creation of specification and requirements, and even also implementing tools. For example, for the control terminology, it might be nice to get even an Excel interface or an Excel importer, exporter. We are having split our trail in 2 timelines. So the first part is the planning phase. Here we are collecting mainly feedback and are preparing then the action phase. So what is it that struggles you? What information gaps are available? And what kind of improvement ideas and add-ons do you have in mind, which we could work on? And then becomes an action phase, which running 4 months, so from September to December. And here we are having the documentation and best practices we could work on, or supporting scripts or additional requirements. Whatever our group is coming up with, this is what we could do. And it's really about collaboration, contribution, communication. And here we really need your feedback. So what is it you're struggling with? What information gaps do we want to work on? What improvement ideas do you have and you would like to see? And for this, we can now start the interactive session of this meeting, which is really collecting on what we could work on. So with this, you can see here on the side our wiki homepage. So there's also a general introduction. You can generally read about everything here. When we do presentations or anything, it will also be here on our OSB Hub. We do have the discussions, which contain all the single use cases. For example, use case 1 is about control terminology, dictionary, and units of measurements. And here, for example, if you like it, you can give it a thumb. You can also add some comments. And like here, we are running our first sub-project, which is on controlled terminology. You also find a summary of the documentation. So actually, this use cases is an outcome of the OpenStudyBuilder as metadata repository utilization discussions we had. So if you would like to see what had been discussed there had been a video recording. And we also had a live meetup, and the summary of this is described here. And today we are going to have our kickoff meeting for the trail for controlled terminology.
In the next steps, we have discussed about control terminologies. So what is it, where people are struggling it, what ideas we have, and what kind of documentation we additionally want to have. For example, we collected the following questions. What is control terminology? We would like to have a definition here. Where is it applied? The differentiation from initiatives. So how does the control terminology looks like in contrast to M11 definitions or USDM definitions? The next question is also on how to get CDIS control terminology. We do have, for the Open Study Builder, there are update scripts available, and the link also is available in the documentation. Then also how to get updates. We do have update scripts, but how exactly is it done? We would like to have additional information and documentation there. Another thing is how to extend the CDIS control terminology, for example, to include additional unit code lists. I mean, there are in general 2 options. You could do it via script, but we would really like to have a better documentation there. And you can also do it via graphical user interface. There is a documentation, but there's always room for improvement, and probably also a video which we might want to create. The next thing is, okay, what is explained good and bad? So we really would like to have an overview about where exactly it is you would like to have additional examples. This is we can look into, so we definitely would need feedback here. Then also we would like to need an overview of, hey, what is initially already explained and where, because we do have multiple documentation places. So where is it exactly where we have some content for control terminology? Then also specifically for the USDM control terminology, because it does not 100% matching the CITES control terminology. So it would be good to have also an overview about the differentiation, ideally differences in a spreadsheet or in a spreadsheet-like format. It might also be valuable to have linkages and additional attributes related from CITES control terminology to USDM control terminology. Do we probably even need a USDM control terminology package? So this is also something we could work on. And finally, also, we would like to have more insights on how the study level usage of the control terminology could look like. So questions for upgrading and stability for studies arise. So we would like to have additional documentation, how it could be done, how possible processes could be, how to deal with the scenarios to update or don't update to new control terminology. And this is, we also do have different levels. So probably we want to update something for protocol, but not for SDTM and ADAM mapping, or vice versa. And also the question and the topic for bulk upload support occurred. So these are already the points we have discussed and we would like to address in our project. If you're having additional questions, suggestions, or work items you would like to see actions on, please provide them back as feedback either in Slack or in LinkedIn or via email. Thanks.